Whoever pops in first, if you could please let me know if you can hear me. Coco's already saying hi. No, it's a busy holiday week for our American friends today. Oh my gosh, Dexter's going nuts. Hi, Dawn. You can hear me okay? How are you doing? My voice is still coming and going. It's a little raspy still. Did voiceover for Alexandra today, so it's tired now. Thinking we can get done Triskele today. It's pretty fast. Who did I have doing this with me? Annie, Diane, and Rhonda. Getting better. Dave's sick now. Hi, Diane. Diane, did you finish your Triskeles? You did, right? Yeah, it's been a nasty cold. A virus called, I don't know. Dave doesn't have strep throat. He just has a cold, but it's probably the virus that made me sick that made it turn to strep throat. Maybe. I don't know how it works. But he's sick now. But he's working from home sick, so. I've just finished the Alexandra tutorial is uploading. Just watching today. Okay, so we just had Rhonda and Annie that were sewing with me. Frankie and Kim, we're going to make one later. Diane is done. So we will just give it a couple of minutes to see if Annie or Rhonda pop in, and if not, then you guys can keep me company while I do the class and sew by myself. Yay! So we do have 24 people in this class. Oh my gosh, my throat is so dry. We'll just give it about till 5 after, and then we'll get started, because I'm pretty sure we can get this done today. It's pretty fast. Ooh, I just got paid for a bag. Yay! It's always good when I get paid. Dawn, are you going to get the Alexandra? Are you going to cut it out and sew with us on Thursday? Seriously, look at this. I'm in love. Seriously, so in love with this bag. Isn't she pretty? So glad I did this front section. I'm going to make one of these for myself in leather. I have a turquoise leather and I'm going to do it. I should have time in December because it's my kind of sort of month off. Meaning I only work till noon. But I might take a day and make myself something. It's so cute. I expected it to be a lot bigger, but it's like the perfect size for me. I'll apologize now if I cough or if I sound sniffly. So I'm not 100% over whatever it is. It's been a long time. Wasn't COVID, thank goodness. Just strep throat. But it's a little in my chest right now. We'll give 3 more minutes and then we will get started. I could figure out where we were last time. There's Coco again. Let me just get myself reacquainted with what I am doing. How's the weather where you guys are? Are you good? That's where I am. Oh, I'm so sorry. I do have cough candies here, so I'm just happy I got my voice back. It was completely gone for 4 days. Completely gone. So I couldn't have worked if I wanted to because I had no voice. Did you enjoy making your Alexandra, Diane? Did you finish it today? Trying to get myself situated with what I'm doing here. Okay, I see. Another minute, and we'll get started. It's good at letting me get organized anyways. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Oh yeah. Hopefully always looking up for your husband, Diane. Okay, so we are going to get started. Oopsies. What am I doing? Okay, let me, the screen is gonna go blank for one moment because for some reason, oh, maybe I need to go like this. Here. Oopsies. It's because I had it all situated for doing a tutorial and I didn't check these ones. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this is where we were last class. Homework was edge painting one side of our strap and two sides of our D-ring connector, as well as fusing on our Peltex or Decavol Heavy. Again, I can't give out any measurements, so you'll have to follow along in the pattern. Of course, I do jump around a little bit, but that's me. Okay. Prepare ID window. And we are using a double-sided tape, of course. Top stitch card slot panel. Okay, I've got her figured. So we're going to take our interior bottom piece, which is the piece with our pocket here. And we have our lines on the back here. So this fourth line on the back should line up with our second line to kind of sandwich those card slots in behind. And you want to try to keep it as even as you can. I mean, it might not be exact. That's okay. but as even as you can on the sides. Hi, Frankie. And then straighten it out up here. You did yours already, Frankie? That's okay. Thank you for coming and hanging with us. So I've just kind of folded it up, matched up those lines, and you should have a nice even here. Mine is about 3/8 of an inch-ish hang over there. And I am going to clip it in place. Again, we're trying to keep our edges as smooth as we can, especially if we're going to be edge painting them. So I'm going to clip it, but I'm also going to get some double-sided tape to hold that where I need it to stay. You can use glue, of course, but of course you got to wait for the glue to dry if you do that. So I'm just going to take a little bit. I'll put it under this first fold here, right along the side. It's so much easier to do with double-sided tape if your machine can handle it over the glue, trust me. Glue is messy. And you have to wait for it to dry, and it takes forever. This is just so much faster. Again, you're wanting to keep your cork edges nice and even. And then we're going to do the same with the second layer there. How are you doing, Frankie? Coco is just beside herself right now. I don't know. I think she always is at this time of day. School's out. Okay. So I got a little bit of an overhang of cork, and I think it's just due to my cutting. So I'm going to trim it off with my rotary cutter. Just on the side here. I want it to stay nice and even. I think that was just due to bad cutting for me. Or else I just made it worse. No, it's okay. Okay, do the same on the opposite side. Just to hold it in place. One layer. Oopsies. Kinda. So this is on page 4. I lied. Page 13, or step number 13, page 5. It's hard because there's not that many pictures for this pattern. So that is that one done for now, making sure it's nice and even. We're going to do similar with the other one, but it's a little bit different. So I don't remember how we did this. Okay, so we're folding this back. And we have our third line on the back, and we're lining it up with this line right here. Again, if it's not exact, that's okay. You can just make it do its thing. Make sure you get your pockets in there good. And fold it in. Get in there. Oh my goodness, dogs. Add some clips. That's not quite. Make sure it is nice and flat. Now this one might adjust a little bit. There's a little trick to this one. That kind of gives us a rough idea of where it will sit. So it's kind of, see how it's kind of accordioned up? Now before we make that too secure there, we have these two lines, the first and the second line on the back, and I want to transfer those to the front because we are going to get ready to put on our wristlet piece. So I'm just going to kind of transfer those lines here to the front. Even just the bottom line is good. I can do both. With a pen that'll erase, just so we kind of see where our marks are. So this fold here should sit 1 inch, I gotta get my other ruler, 1 inch below that bottom line, or that second line. So I'm gonna just take my 1 inch ruler, and this is where I'm gonna have to adjust it a little. So I'm putting it right up against the bottom parts of those lines that I just drew, hoping that we're somewhat even. Like that. And then I can just butt this up against there, and then I know my placement is exactly where it needs to be. Because everything has to kind of fall in line with our exterior Peltex, which holds everything in place. Oh my gosh. Dogs bark a little more when Dave's home for some reason. Okay. So that, see, that made my line a little bit off, but that's okay. We can handle that. And then we're going to use our tape again to hold those in place, or glue. First layer. And then try to make it line up as even as we possibly can. Next layer. Frankie and Diane, you both used tape for yours, didn't you? Oh my gosh, dogs. I don't know what's going on up there. I apologize. Everybody's home today. Dave's homesick. Dogs don't know what's going on. Okay. And once again, if you're using glue, you would allow this to dry before you move on. Oh, Dave's yelling at the dogs. I think he hasn't realized it's time to feed them, and they're asking for it. He'll figure it out. Okay. So I'm also just going to put a couple clips in just so, is that straight? You want to make sure these are as straight as they can be. Look, I went crooked, so I've got to move this down a little bit. So right along this top part should be about 3/8 of an inch. I can give you that measurement if you want to get your placement right. There we go. Okay. Just to make sure my tape doesn't give away, I'm just going to add in clips to hold it until we sew it all together. Use tape. So easy with tape. Okay. You can also go ahead and crease your cork around along those fold lines, but I can never see the crease lines, so I find this way works really good. Alrighty. Okay, so we can set this one aside for now, and we're going to work on this wristlet. So, or this is the D-ring connector. So I've edge painted both sides. On the back, we're going to measure in, I believe it was 3/4 of an inch. So we're looking at page, I know I'm jumping around, page 3, number 7. Step 7, we're going to measure in down 3/4 of an inch. Grab a little bit of tape again. Oh yes, Thanksgiving in the US. Ours was last month, so. Of course, I think we have a class on Thanksgiving, but that's okay. Everybody can catch the replay. Okay, so I got my D-rings. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our D-rings, the flat side of our D-rings, down to that line and fold these under over top of it. Like so. Just like that. Same with the other side. Just like that. I feel like I'm missing a step. Okay, let me just double check. No, I did all that. No, I'm good. Okay, so this is what that looks like. Again, you could be using glue, but then you'd have to let it dry. Now I'm going to put just some tape outside. Now this, you will not be stitching through this tape. We're putting it right through the middle. So if your machine is sensitive to double-sided tape, you wouldn't have to worry about this part. Just don't put it too close to the hardware because we are going to be sewing nice and close to the hardware. So just double check. This is straight. My lines have kind of washed away. So those lines that we drew are actually what we're going to be lining this up in. Just want to make sure I definitely am even, and I am. So I don't know if you can see those marks that I've made. I just transferred these marks back here, and that is a 1-inch mark. So I think I can move this up a little bit. Where are we? 1 inch? No, there we go. Make sure they're nice and even. And those are just going to give us a guide. There we go. As to where we're going to place this. So in between that little mark that we transferred over, we want to lay this down nice and centered in between those marks. So I just pretty much eyeball it. That looks okay. Is it far enough away? It's about 1 inch up. I can maybe move it down just a smidgen. Make sure it's nice and straight. Yep. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put on our left zipper foot, and we're going to stitch as close as we can to the D-ring, across, down, and under. I'm also going to pull my threads long to tie off in the back. So I won't be able to see the chat for a moment because we will be over at the machine. So let me just flip this over. Change my zipper foot. I'm using the left side zipper foot. So that's the one where when it's looking at you, it's on the left-hand side. And the reason I put this one on is because I can pretty much go right up against my D-ring, so we're nice and secure. So I'm going to pull my threads long. I'm going to have a scrap piece of cork for protecting my hardware ready to go. Pull my threads long, and I'm not going to backstitch. You can backstitch if you like, but I want a nice seamless line, so I'm not going to. Oopsies, my thread's coming unthreaded. Get in there. My thread came out of the channel. I just have to stick it back in. There we go. So I'm going to just about to pivot. So I'm putting my needle all the way down and bringing it up. You want to bring it up just a little bit before it comes out. You don't want it to come out of the fabric, but you want it to be up a little bit higher, and that'll make sure that you've caught your bobbin, so you make a sharp corner there. Pivot. Same with this one. So I'm putting my needle all the way down and bringing it about halfway up before I pivot. Putting a scrap over top of my hardware so it doesn't eat up my hardware. Before I forget, I'm going to pull that thread through. And keep going. Had lots asked me how I know I won't get that little where it skips that corner stitch, and that's what I do is I put it all the way down and bring it halfway up, but not out of the fabric yet, and then you get a nice and sharp stitch corner. So that's why I'm mentioning it right now. I had a few questions about that. Once again, all the way down and part way up. Pivot. And then ending in that same starting stitch. Back stitch if you're not pulling your threads long. Tie off in the back. Oh, cocoa beans. Okay. Okay, let's fix that. Okay, so that's what that looks like. So now I also want to put in some rivets just on either side, back with little scraps of deckable heavy. You can decide if you want to do that. I just like the look of it, so I'm going to do it. So I'll go and do that right now. I'm just going to put it just inside like so. Rivets in. Just adds that little bit of extra bling too. Here I'm going to burn my threads from where I tied off so I don't forget. A little melted knot. Now I'll set those rivets. One. Okay. And two. All right. Now we can go ahead and we can install our magnetic snaps on both of our exterior pieces and this piece here. So on your pattern pieces, it has the placement. I've already marked it on the back here. I'm just going to make sure they still match up. 1, 2. I can see I marked them through, use my pattern piece and mark through there. And that is where I am going to install my male side of my snaps. Now that is because that is the part that moves. I always say that the male parts go on the part that moves
And the female parts go on the parts that are stationary, because the female parts are prettier. Okay, so let's install those right away. Put my female parts away. We can go over here. Come on out. 2 for that one. And 2 for this one. Okay. So I'm also going to be backing these with scrap to deckable heavy. Now I've marked them on this side because it's the wrong side, but of course we're installing these on the right side. So make me slits. Try to see my slits there. There they are. You can see how this is going to be the flap coming over like so with our handle right there. We need a visual. Where's my other slit there? Okay. Diane and Frankie, make sure you post pictures of yours so I can put it on the page. Just put that over top. Just got your text on. You just made me giggle. Okay. I always use my mallet for this because my fingers just don't like to press in these things. I put mine prongs to the middle. I know some people do it to the opposite side. Do what works best for you. Okay, other side. Come on, pick up. There we go. Okay, so that's what that looks like that. Now we want to do the same with the female on this one. So I don't think, do you know what? I had marked it, but I covered it with, whatchamacallit? That's the interior top. So I just got to find my interior bottom pattern piece. But I don't really use the pattern pieces, but I do use them for the placement of, where are you? There it is. Okay, so it doesn't really matter which side it goes on because it's the same. My pattern pieces look weird because I only use them for the placement of the magnetic snaps, because everything else I cut on my Cricut machine. So line this up nicely. Put your placement. Now before I go any further, I just make sure that they look like they're the same width apart. And I can see that they will match up there. So that makes sense there. Just making sure that my little nubbins are the same distance apart here to make sure I didn't draw anything wrong. And now we can go ahead and install the female sides on the exterior piece. Yes, Dawn, you're hilarious. I'm sorry I couldn't meet with you last week, Dawn. I didn't want to give you my plague. You were busy with wedding anyways, but it was so nice of you to stop by. Sorry I couldn't visit with you. Okay, and then install these in. Sometimes on cork it's hard to see where. I just cut. If I go through it once this side, whoops. Oh, there it is, right there. Cork is sometimes hard to see. There it is. There we go. And I'm not going to worry about the deckable heavy pieces because I already got Peltex there, so that will be enough. This one. Can I see my little slit there? There it is. Well, I hope you enjoyed your stay in Kamloops for your son's wedding. Okay, just like that. And I'm just going to make sure that they do definitely match up and they click together. And they do. Yay. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put some duct tape on the back of those just for extra security and to keep those prongs from rubbing on the back when we put these together. I love Kamloops too, but I'm a born and raised I'm a second generation Kamloopian. So I'm very, very partial to Kamloops. I love it here. You should move here, Dawn. Look how messy my table is already. I am not a neat and tidy worker by any means. Okay, magnetic snaps done. Okay, so this exterior piece, so this is how this is going to go. You can see how when we let this Peltex or deckable heavy sit overnight, you can see how perfectly it forms. Like, look how nice the square is, and same with down here. So this is where it's going to fold over like this and look like that. This part here, it'll end up being like this. Once we got everything in there, we still have some more steps to do here, but it'll fold over like that. Okay, so you can put the exterior piece away. And now I believe we are going to work on our zipper pocket. We are almost done, believe it or not. Thing that takes the most time is the card slots. Second is the zipper pocket, but it's not too bad. So it is important to, I used a number 3 zipper. Did anybody who made this already use a number 5 zipper? I've never used a number 5 zipper in this before. Just out of curiosity. Okay. So we are looking at page page 5, step 14. Try to clear some of this away for you. Lauren just has to get a job here or open a business here. He can work at the mine with Dave. That works. Lots of jobs in Kamloops, I think, right now. Okay. Just trying to get away some of this clutter. Okay. So, you take my number 3 zipper. You just want it to be longer than 8 inches or so. It doesn't have to be exact because we're going to be trimming it up. So I'm just going to trim it right there. So I just cut my zipper to about 8.5 inches. You can cut it to whatever it is in the pattern as well. You'll want to put our zipper pull on. So let me just grab my handy dandy fork for putting my zipper on. Zipper pull on. If you want to see what I'm doing here, I'll kind of, don't judge my floor. It's so dirty. So I put my zipper pull onto my fork, like so, right there. And try to get it to go on nice and straight. sometimes it takes a couple tries, especially with the number 3 zippers. Oh, I got it first try. I lied. There we go. Okay. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. Woo! Okay. So now we want to take our little zipper tabs. I didn't cut these very even, but it should be fine. Can't remember which way they go. This way? Go this way. Okay. So this is one measurement I am going to give you guys. So this total zipper, including our ends, needs to be 7.5 inches. So I'm going to lay my ruler down. I'm going to take some double-sided tape. I'm going to actually use thicker double-sided tape here. And put it on the back side. I cut a couple of these. Which ones look better? Look how bad those cut. Holy. They cut so bad. It'll be fine. The cutting machine must have went a little bonkers. So you want to just put a little bit of tape on the back of these. Again, you can glue, but I don't want to wait for the glue to dry. We'd be here forever. Okay, and we're going to start with one side. And you're going to lay it right up even with the end of your zipper here. So it's right on top of your zipper. I am going to actually trim up my cork just because my cork is laying over, you can see. Just to make it evener. Okay, so yeah, see, it's right over top. Now, we're going to put that at one end like so. And from this end to the end of this cork, we only want it to be 7.5 inches. So, man, oh man, Brandy. So you're going to make sure that the end of the cork ends at the 7.5 inch mark. Like so. You see that? So 7.5 to 7.5 there. And then we're going to go ahead. We'll trim this excess off later. Evener. I know I talk really good, don't I? We're just going to go and top stitch right along these raw edges. Before I do that, I'm actually just going to burn my cork a little bit there. You could have edge painted these if you wanted to. I didn't worry about it. I'll just burn it. Just because those will be raw edges right there. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and top stitch just along those spots right there. Right. And I do still have my zipper foot on here. It's one side done. And the opposite side. So just in that one spot. Okay. Try to unclutter some of this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of fold the cork part back like so, and we are going to trim the zipper tape up to about 1/4 of an inch to where this stitching was. So just so it's kind of out of the way. You can see on the back there. Same with on this side. So it's like that. Easy peasy. Okay, so I'm going to read her instructions here to make sure I place these the right way. Interior top, right side up. Which one's my interior top? I always mix them up. Okay, this is the interior bottom. This is the interior top. Okay. So, our interior top piece on the wrong side. Again, you can use glue, but tape is a lot faster. You can also use Stritz Wash Away Wonder tape as well. Words are hard. Okay, so before I do that, again, this is another edge you could have edge painted if you wanted to. I don't worry about it for these ones. There'd be a lot of edge paint. I just edge paint in the end type thing. So I just burn away all my excess. This one's really nice because it this cork kind of turns brown. You could also take your finger and put some glue along there if you wanted to, just to kind of seal in those edges. But on the wrong side here, you're going to go ahead and put some double-sided tape. Take your zipper. I'm going to make sure I have my zipper pull going the right way. What does it say? You have your zipper head to the left side. So closing to the left side. Closing that way. We're going to take our tape off. It's not the end of the world if the zipper goes a different way. And we're just going to lay this down over top of the zipper tape, nice and even and centered. You want to be close to the zipper teeth, but not too close to the zipper teeth. Come on, get in there. That's where the tape is nice because you can bring it up if it doesn't look quite right. So that looks like pretty even to me, like so. Okay, so we got that stuck down. Now we're going to flip this over like so. And we're going to grab one of our cotton pieces. Again, this is a different technique. So I just want to make sure I'm doing this the right way. Fold the zipper pouch, flip back panel over and sew just along the interior top raw edge. Zipper pouch line right side down. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use more tape here. Okay, guys? You could use glue, but again, you have to let it dry in between glue layers. So along the right side, some tape or glue. Now, what we're going to do, so see this bottom part of the zipper? That's the part that we just put on. We're going to put this right sides together, and we are going to line it up along that edge. Now, this won't be as wide. It should be just slightly shorter than the piece. So make sure, see how it's a little bit? You just got to make sure it's nice and centered on there. I got to do a better job than that. So it'll just be slightly shorter in width. Okay, I think that's good. And stick it down. So I just lined it up along the raw edge of the zipper tape. And this is what that looks like. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to fix this a little bit because it looks a little uneven, is we're going to go ahead and we are just going to top stitch right through here. And that is also going to secure this piece here. So right through here with 1/8 of an inch. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go to, I think this is the only view you guys really need here, so then I don't have to keep switching my cameras around. Okay. So top stitch right along there. Make sure back stitch Easy peasy. And if you've done it right, you've got your top stitching there. And you'll also see along the back, it has caught this piece as well. So it's all caught all the way across. Now what we're going to do is glue or double-sided tape. So whenever I use double-sided tape, no, you can use glue. You just have to let the glue dry, okay? So I'm going to put some double-sided tape right here and right here. So just below, because we got to stick that lining piece down. And we want it to be nice and tight away from the zipper teeth so it doesn't get caught in there. So glue it or tape it down. So what I mean is you're going to pull this nice and tight away from the zipper teeth and press it down. Nice and tight away from the zipper teeth and press it down just like that. And we want to make sure it's outside of these lines as well. Okay, so that is what we've got so far. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with the opposite side here. So the part where it's all folded up, where we have about that 3/8 to 1/2 inch here, that should be going this way. So we're going to do the exact same thing with the other side of the zipper tape with this piece. I'm going to once again burn my edges. Across. And you don't want too much excess tape because all these, you'll have to trim it off later. So make sure it doesn't go past the edge there. String stuck there. Oh, that's fine. Okay, and you want to put it nice and even along this side, just like we did with the other side. Looks like I got another little stray there. Let's just kind of burn you away. Ooh, a little bit of a fire there. Again, you want to try to make the edges as flush as they can be. Okay, that looks good to me, like that. I'm going to flip this over, and then we're going to match this one up like so. Right side. Tape or glue. And then right sides together with this other one. So right side down along this edge of the zipper, and make these line up the best you can. This is to have a lined zipper pocket. Holy, Brady's noisy up there. I don't know if you can hear my kid up there. Okay, so that's all lined up there, and now we're going to go and top stitch right along this side. So again, you have it flipped up and out of the way. Oops, I got it in wrong, so of course I'm going to run over my zipper foot. There we go. And you'll see I keep this foot on pretty much for the rest of sewing this. Trust me, it just makes it a lot easier keeping this foot on, the left side one. You could use a regular foot as well, but I just find it keeps me on track a lot better. Okay. Do you guys see it coming together? I always try to go and burn my threads as I go so I don't forget later. Okay. And now we want, okay, I caught everything here, which is good. And we want to flip it down to the other side. again, if you're using glue, make sure after each time you use glue that you let it dry before moving on. Pull it away from the zipper teeth, nice and tight. We will be sewing this in place more here momentarily. Okay. Make sure that all lays flat. Make sure your zipper opens and closes freely, and it does. Yay! Okay. Now we're going to, you love, thanks Diane. Okay, so usually I go rogue on this, but I'm trying to follow the pattern best I can here. Okay, now we're going to form our zipper pocket. So we're going to pick this up. We're going to fold this so our zipper is on top like so. So let's fold it over like this. You're going to take where your tabs were and match up those seams nicely like so, and put a clip. Making sure your edges are all nice and even as they can be. So it's almost like we're folding this, well, not really in half, but you're just bringing it wrong sides together like so. Do the same with the opposite side. Match up the seams of that where we attached these to the zipper panel. Keeping it nice and even. You want it to be even, especially if you're edge painting, because it's much easier to work with an even edge, and then you don't have to trim it, because trust me, trimming is just hard. Just like so. Make sure your zipper is sitting on top nice and straight. So this is what it looks like. Now what we want to do is measure down. You want to measure down 3 inches from the zipper tape here. So I'm going to take some chalk. Oops. Measure down from the zipper tape. So I'm lining it up with the teeth there. You only need to do this on one side. Extend my lines out. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to, with an 1/8 of an inch top stitch, go all the way down here. We're going to pivot and go across this line and then back up the side. Okay. This one here. Okay. So I think you can see everything from this camera. Maybe I'll switch it to the other one too. One sec. Just so you can see what I'm doing. So this is why I like this foot, because I can put this side of my foot right along the edge, and I know that's an 1/8 of an inch, and my walking foot is still walking across here. So still keeping everything nice and even. Make sure your back stitch. Go down. Put this as high. Put your needle down and bring it about halfway up before you pivot. You double check that my stitches look good on the opposite side, because it'll show on either side. Now, I don't like the back stitching look, but you really can't, there's nothing you can really do about it with this one, except for maybe not use a contrasting thread like me. Okay, and go all the way across that line we just drew. opposite side. Pivot. And up the other side. Back stitch well. That part is done. Excuse me. Hi, Rhonda. Okay, cool. And you know you can message me if you have any questions. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go and burn my threads. And then this is what we should have now. See how it all lays out like so? And so it's up like so. That's what it looks like in the back. All of our sides are sealed in, and we should have a working zipper pocket that is lined. And we do. I'm going to just quickly make sure that my card slots are still functional and that my ribbon did not move at all. So I'm always paranoid about that. This side is good. And we are golden. Alrighty. Not too bad, hey? We're almost done. Okay, when am I supposed to? Okay, before we go too much further, we want to draw a line. So from this line, that chalk line we had drawn here and sewn across, we want to draw another one a 1/2 inch away from that with some chalk or something that will erase away easily. Okay, so just like that. And same with on the opposite side, 1/2 inch. Okay, now we're going to take our exterior main piece. So you want to make sure you have these situated so the magnetic snaps are on opposite sides. So here's our females and here's our males, okay? You want them to be on opposite sides. Again, you can use glue here, but you'll have to let it dry for quite a while. I'm just going to use tape. I'm just going to lay a bunch of tape down. I need a drink. Haven't lost my voice yet. This is good. Okay. Pretty much laying it across the Peltex pieces. I'm going to lay it across the center part. And again, you won't really be sewing through this tape if your machine is sensitive to it, because you're going to be sewing along the exteriors, and you will be sewing through parts of this, but it won't be falling where the lines are if you stay on top of the Peltex pieces. I'm using 1/2 inch tape from Galaxy Customs here. This stuff is super, super sticky. I don't think I'd use it for a domestic machine, but it works good for what I use. Okay, so again, making sure that females on the right side, the males are on the left side, and these should be the same size, which mine are pretty much. Okay. What's nice about the tape is you don't get your hands all dirty from the glue, and you can unstick it a little bit. You have a little bit of time to work with it. So I'm taking off all of the paper from the tape. think I see a little bit of Dexter fur in here. Look at that. Everybody gets a treat that buys one of my wallets. Okay. Now, again, you want to line this up as straight as you can. So we're putting the side with the ID window against the side with the female snaps, and you want to line it up as even as you possibly can at the edges here. Take your time doing this. And if you're doing edge painting, you'll thank yourself. See, I'm nice and even there. And I'm only going to work down to that first piece of Peltex for now. So I'm going to kind of just watch my edges, making sure everything is nice and even. If you go a little not even or uneven, not even, oh my gosh, you can trim it up a little bit. Like I might have to trim up a little there. That's okay. Now you also could have beveled your edges on this if you wanted to. I actually kind of like the look of it nice and straight. Okay. I'm going to just go and add in a few clips just to hold what I've stuck in place just to hold it there a little bit longer for me. Just in case my tape decides it wants to give out. I'm not off by very much, and my base coat will definitely cover up any of those gaps for sure. Oops. Okay, now you're going to see this zipper pocket pretty much lines up with that little piece of Peltex right there and the lines. So I'm just going to take it just a little bit further. See what I mean there? Can you see that? The lines, these lines should almost line up with those other lines. If it's off by a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Just keep putting it nice and even. Okay, now before I go any further, I'm actually going to do this opposite side because these edges we definitely want to go up. We can always make this kind of pop up a little bit more if we need to. I'm going to line up these edges now. Oopsies. See, I told you this one's a 2-class wallet. It is so fast. Okay, I'm going to work its way down. Now this should almost fall right in line with the 1 inch in here. The 1 inch, that's a little less than an inch, but that shorter Peltex piece there. Make sure your edges are all lining up good. I am a little bit off, so I'm going to pull it up and readjust it. But it's definitely worth taking the time to do this, trust me. My hands would work today, that would be a really good thing. Okay. There we go, we're nice and even. Okay. So yes, these two side flat parts you want to definitely be lined up, and then you kind of evenly distribute it through this middle section here. Again, I'm going to put some clips in just to hold it better for me. You also want to make sure the edges are nice and even because we're going to be sewing it from the inside, and we want to make sure we're catching it evenly on the opposite side as well. So you got a nice and even top stitch. Your bobbin thread is going to have to be super nice because it is what's going to show on the outside of the bag. of the wallet. I keep calling it a bag and it's a wallet. When I used glue to do this part, it would be squirting out oh, it was a mess. But it held really good. I'm so glad that I watched Nicole's video of her using double-sided tape. I'm like, why didn't I think about that? And I haven't made very many of these on my industrial. I made a ton on my Juki 2010Q, so I wouldn't have been using double-sided tape there. Okay, and keep moving down. See, it's kind of, see what it's doing right there? Gotta make sure it's not doing that. Gonna stick it down prematurely and it's trying to buckle on me. That's where the tape is nice because I can readjust. Okay, nice and smooth. There we go. Now it's nice and smooth down there. Perfect. I just got to readjust to make sure this sticks properly and nice and even. Perfect. It's a little bit finicky, but not bad at all. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this stuff, so it usually takes me a little bit longer just because I want to have a nice edge there. I hate trimming it. I do. So if I can make it match up right off the hop and not have to trim, I'm pretty happy. Okay, so then you're working your way into where this little pocket is here, where we drew those lines. It looks like we balanced in pretty good. And you can see there, you can see I'm going to have to trim a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. It's not very much, but that's okay. So my exterior piece is just a little bit wider. And it'll be fine. Okay. And I think we are almost there. It's nice and even. Okay, so now this is what we got. You can kind of see how it'll come together, and this is going to close over, but if it doesn't have a clips, and clip into this here. So again, we are sewing from the inside, so you want to make sure your bobbin thread is good too. I'm just going to trim this up so it's evener. And we are going to start. Which side do we want to start with? I'm going to start here. Yes. So we are going to sew, I'm going to start on the side here because I'm going to have a back stitch there. I don't want to have my back stitch at the top of the flap. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to back stitch. We're going to go with 1/8 of an inch top stitch all the way down here across that 1/2 inch line that we drew, back up and around and back stitch. Then we're going to break our thread and we're going to do the other side. I'll probably start on the side again, back stitch, up, around, down, across this line, and finish it up. All with 1/8 of an inch, going nice and slow. We want to have these as even as we can because as we're sewing, we want to make sure that the bobbin is going to be doing a nice and straight top stitch around this side, because this is what's going to be visible on the opposite side, on the exterior side. So let's go ahead and we will do that. And we're almost done. Seriously, that is all we have to do besides the wristlet. So this is the part that always makes me nervous. Make sure you got lots of bobbin thread. I'm good. My bobbin, I checked already and it looks okay. Now, what I'm going to do on my industrial, because I have had my walking foot eat my cork going through this, so I just put a little bit of oil along my walking foot just to make it a little bit more slippery for the cork, and a little bit on my presser foot here, because I've had it eat up the opposite side, especially when going across that middle part, and I don't want it to do that. And I just find that if it's freshly oiled machine, or if you have a little bit of oil on there, it just doesn't do that as much. So okay, here we go. So see, I can put my using the left zipper foot, I could put right up against the edge here, and it's perfect. Okay. Deep breaths and let's go. Little back stitch. And you are going to see my oil, but again, I don't want it eating my cork, so I am okay with it getting oily. I can wipe that away. Try to keep your lines as straight as you can. I'm just going to take a quick peek to see. Oh yeah, my stitches are gorgeous. Okay, we're good. So you can see how the oil is helping a little bit here, just because I don't want my presser foot eating it. Okay, and this is where I was saying, so you know that it's going to catch that stitch okay. Put your needle all the way down and then bring it halfway-ish up, but not out of the material, and then it should catch that bobbin so you don't have that weird, you know, when it doesn't do the corner sharp. Okay, now we're going to go across that line. And this is a little bit thicker here because this kind of puffs out because we have all of that ribbon in there now. And this is the section where if it's going to chew up your cork on this walking foot, this is the section it's going to do it. So fingers crossed it does not. I'm just speaking from experience. Okay, needle down all the way, bring it halfway up, bring it around, and I'm going to take a peek. We're good. Yay! Across this side. Get nice and slow so you're nice and straight. This, because the magnetic snaps sometimes like to stick on your plate here, kind of hold it up. So it doesn't make your stitches go all wonky because it's holding it back. Bring your needle part way up and pivot. I got a nice corner there. My corner's over here. I'm good. What my corner do here? It's gorgeous. Good. You just never know. Again, put your needle up, down, all the way. Bring it about halfway up and pivot. Starting point, back stitch. Make sure everything looks good. Again, I got to build up a back stitch here, but there's really nothing you can do about that. So I just kind of put it in a non-conspicuous place as I can. I'm going to check my corners look good. They weren't pulled. Perfect. Now we can do the opposite side. So you can see all my top stitching, I don't know if you can see it, is all nice and even around the side. I can't see the chat right now, I'll check it in a moment. Let me go back. Now we're going to do the opposite side. So I'm going to start on the side here. Oh, this is where the magnetic snaps may want to stick to your needle plate, so you might have to hold it up to make sure it doesn't. Okay. Back stitch and 1/8 of an inch. Needle down, all the way down, half up, and just before it's going to come out of the fabric, then you can pivot. Again, I'm holding it up because it's wanting to stick to the needle plate, that magnetic snap. And sometimes if it's a really strong magnet, it'll make it so your walking foot or your presser foot does not move. You just kind of are stitching in one place. So just want to be aware. Okay, coming to a corner, needle down all the way, hoping I'm catching all layers. Presser foot, or bring the needle part way up, pivot. This side is probably the hardest because of the magnetic snap. You just have to be kind of really, see, it wants to get stuck, aware of it. My corner looks good. Okay, I've come to that next line that we drew. Needle all the way down, bring it about halfway up, just before it wants to come out of the fabric, and then pivot. I'm going to take a quick peek. Oh, my corner did a funky thing there. I don't know why. I'll have to go back and fix that, but that's easy enough to fix. See, I got a loop-de-loop. I don't know why. Maybe my magnetic snap got stuck down a little bit and pulled it up a little bit when I was moving it. Yeah, that's okay. Cross that line. Needle down. Bring it about halfway up. Pivot. And finish it off. So I do have that one corner to fix because I don't know why I did that. Where did it go? Oh, it's right there. But that's okay. Let's see if it's even attached to anything. You know what? I think we're fine. It was just a piece of string that got stuck in there. Yay! I will probably put a little glue on that just to make sure though. Okay. That is the most stressful part. Most stressful part, but you can see how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and burn my threads. I'm going to burn them at those corners too, just because I have a little, just to make sure they stick. Anywhere you see little stray threads, give it a quick burn if you're using a bonded thread like me. You can see, look, all my corners, see, they all look good all the way around. They always look good on this side. My fabric is frayed along here. You can burn that off, but of course you will rectify that if you are edge painting. If you aren't edge painting, take some fabric tack on your finger and just rub it along all of those raw edges, and it'll make it so the cork does not fray. So I have little sections here. You can see, can you see how it's gone over? I will have to go and trim that up nice and even before I edge paint, but that's as easy as it is trimming right there. Just make sure you're doing it nice and straight and even, just like that. Ooh, I did a good job. Okay, so now the test. Fold it in half and you click it together Look at that. How perfect. Easy, hey? So now all we have left to do is our wristlet, which is super fast. So our wristlet, we need our wristlet and our 1/2 inch, what's that called? Swivel clasp. So on my wristlet, I edge painted the 2 short ends and 1 long edge. I didn't do this other long edge because it's going to be folded into the center, so why waste edge paint? Thanks, Rhonda. So we're going to measure from the unpainted raw edge 1 inch. This is so easy. This is a very, very easy way to make a wristlet, and it's super fast. Okay. Now I'm going to take some double-sided tape and put it right above that line, like so. You don't have to use one quite as thick as double-sided tape as I just used, but that's okay. Should have grabbed the other one. And fold it into that line, like so. That unpainted edge if you were edge painting. So it's folding it in by 1/2 inch here. Okay. You could use clips too if you wanted to. Okay, then once you have that, you're going to fold the painted edge over top of that. So it's nice and even. That painted edge is nice and even with the folded edge. And then you're going to use clips and clip it in place. Like so. You can see how nice that nice painted edge is on there. So once again, I could have edge painted the edges if I wanted to do them all separately. I'll probably go and run a little bit of base coat over top of those edges, but I won't be edge painting them. But I will be edge painting all the way around everything else. Now, I'm not going to show you guys how to edge paint here, but my edge painting tutorial that I have on the channel, I was edge painting Triskele wallets. So it'll show you how to edge paint the Triskele wallets on that tutorial if you need a visual for that. Otherwise, just go around the exterior of it if you're edge painting. For my Triskeles, I use 3 to 4 coats of base coat. The base coat is always the most important because it's what builds up that edge so you don't see the folds of the cork. It fills in all of those holes. Now, once I get this in place, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place because I'm talking while I clip this in place. There is a little bit of a hole that I actually use base edge coat to clean up. You could also put glue in it if you're not edge coating, but you see right here how there's that little hole? So when I go and I'm edge coating this, when I edge coat this part, I actually pinch it together like this with the wet edge coat, and I just put little clips there to hold it while that edge coat dries. And then the edge coat acts as a glue and glues that shut. Now, if you're not edge coating, just put a little bit of fabric tack in there, pinch those together and hold it with some clips and let it dry, and it'll close up those little side holes on each side as well. Super easy. Okay, back to this. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to top stitch all the way around all 4 sides with an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, I'm going to start with my back stitch on one short end because we can hide the short end. I will be showing you how to do that momentarily. Okay. You can see how this left zipper foot even helps here because this is such a small width of a thing to doing. My standard foot would be bigger than this and it would be flopping all over the place. along this side. It's not going to be very many stitches, so I'll just hand crank it. And then up the other side. This is the folded side, so it's a little bit easier, where this one I had to make sure I was catching that folded over painted edge. And you can make your wristlet any way that you like. I know there's all sorts of different ways of making a wristlet. This is just like how I like to make my cork wristlets. I think it's how she does it in the pattern too. It's probably how I learned it. Okay. Almost done, almost done. See? And I'm going to burn my threads. Decide which side you like better. Side is good. Okay. Now, where did I put it? Now what we're going to do is the side that you didn't have your back stitching on, okay? So I got my back stitching down on this side. I'm going to put my swivel clasp over so the D-ring of it is along the wrong side. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to eyeball it 1.5 inches, just like so, okay? Leave it like that, but then we're going to bring the side that has the back stitching on, and we're going to put it right up against that D-ring, hold it in place, and then take this side and fold it over top of everything like that, sandwiching the side that we had back stitched on, okay? So it's like 3 layers, see, just like that. Then I'm going to take my hole punch and we're going to hold all of those together with a rivet. Now, I think I'm going to have, because my cork is kind of thick, I think I am going to have to use a large rivet for this, but see what rivets fit. Depends on how thick your cork is, but mine is pretty thick. So that's why I have large rivets in here, because they have a longer stem for thicker things that I need to get through. So we'll try a large one and we'll see if it's going to work. If it's too long, I'll switch to a medium. Okay, stick it through the hole. Yeah, definitely going to be a large one. Put on the cap. Put these away. And then punch it in place. Done. And that is your wristlet. So that's why we also edge painted the short ends, because we knew that they would be visible. You can put this on either side. You could also make a small crossbody strap and it could be worn as a crossbody if you wanted. All you have left to do, if you're not edge painting, you are done. If you are edge painting like me, you still have to do that. So the edge painting will hide all, see how you can see where all the joins are? That's why I like the edge painting, and it gives it a nice finish and a nice shine. So, but it's perfectly fine, okay? I would recommend, if you are leaving it raw, to take some fabric tack glue and just run your finger over top of it with that, just to make sure that your cork doesn't fray. So, but look how great that shape is. Like, this is just an amazing pattern. And as you can see, it is so fast to make, like so fast. If you're like me and you have a cutting machine, I just cut a whole bunch of these out all at once. I have a bin of them, so when I need some quick items to sew up for gifts or for markets or whatever, I just go into that bin. I've got a bin of a whole bunch of pre-cut pocket pals that I need to make. I have some trifold wallets from Sonar that I need to make, and a whole bin of these as well. This is already pre-cut. I didn't have to cut it because I had a bunch pre-cut already. So that is it. Look how gorgeous she looks. Not bad, hey? 2 classes. I can seriously, if I'm not teaching this and I have it all cut out, with that tape being a saver, so glad I watched Nicole Sonar's new video of her using the tape, because it used to take me a couple of days because I used to have to let the glue dry. Using the tape, I don't have to, And I can get probably one of these made within an hour and a half or 2 hours once it's all cut out. So yay. So on that note, we don't have class next week on the Tuesday because we finished it today. If depending how far we get on Alexandra on Thursday, we may be stealing the Tuesday class for the Thursday class because we may need one more because I was sick last week. So we will see. Anyways, I know Diane and Frankie already made yours. Please make sure you put them on the Facebook page so I can add it to the album. Rhonda, let me know if you have any questions. Annie, when you see this, let me know if you have any questions. Same with you, Kim. Anybody else that is making this that hasn't chatted, that is in the class, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. I am more than willing to help you out. Again, if you want to see how to edge paint the Triskele wallet, I'm not showing it in the class because edge painting takes a while. You have to let it dry 20 minutes in between each layer. So my edge painting tutorial on my channel is me edge painting Triskele wallet. So it shows you how I do it. So if you want to do that, make sure you check out that video as well. And if you can't find it, just message me and I will find the link for you. All right, everybody, look. And we didn't even do a whole class today, an hour and a half. It's only 4:30. So I think, did we do a full class that first class? I think 3 hours we managed to do the whole wallet, and that's going slow in teaching it. So hour and a half, 2 hours once you get used to it. Again, I go on kind of autopilot when I make these, and I was trying really hard to look at the pattern so I didn't miss anything. So thank you, everybody. Again, thank you for being so understanding last week when I had no voice and strep throat. Said I'm almost better now. So I will see most of you on Thursday. Otherwise, everybody, remember December is a little bit different for classes because December is my kind of sort of month off, meaning I don't work past noon. I try to only work half days to give myself a little bit of a break. So Tuesday's class will be pre-recorded and it is the Glam and Glow by Sew Yours. If you don't have the pattern yet, make sure you go to the Facebook page or the YouTube feed to get the discount code to get that pattern off. The Thursday bag is the Zip and Grip by Sonar. So they're both, not Sonar, by Sew Yours. So both are Sew Yours patterns. So make sure you go grab those patterns if you haven't already. Again, throughout the month of December, if you watch those classes and you have questions or you need help, reach out to me. I can help you out in the mornings. And on Wednesdays, we are doing classes on the public side of the channel, doing mine and Anna's pattern, new Pin It Up patterns pattern, the Up and Away handbag. I will be doing that one on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific time, live on the public side. So if you want to join us for those will be on the public side and they are open for everybody. So yeah, so kind of 3 classes through the month of December, but I will be filming the 2 membership classes this month and getting them up and posting them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I suspect both of those will only be 2 or 3 class bags. Same with the Wednesday class that we're doing on the public side for the Up and Away. I think it'll only be, excuse me, I got the hiccups, a 3 class bag as well. So yay! It just worked out better. I know a lot of people can't make the classes live due to the busy season December is. So this also gives me a little bit of a break to be able to have my afternoons off and I can go and do all my holiday stuff that I need to get done rather than working a 12-hour day. So thank you everybody for understanding and I hope you will still join me in December. Again, reach out if you need anything and I will see you guys Thursday. If not, I will see you next time I see you. Good night, everybody. Bye. Oh, yes, and happy Thanksgiving to all of our American